Hey you guys, welcome back to my channel for another video. Today's video is brought to you in partnership with The Good and the Beautiful because I'm going to be sharing a few new things coming or already released, depending upon when you guys are watching this video, that are coming to The Good and the Beautiful as we all prepare for our upcoming homeschool years and look ahead. So The Good and the Beautiful has been working on revising and improving as well as creating brand new materials for us. And so in this video, I'm just going to share with you guys as The Good and the Beautiful user for about the last 7 years, what I'm noticing about the courses and give you guys my feedback on them and just kind of share with you my thoughts on these things. So the first one that I have to share with you is a brand new science unit study on paleontology. If you have kids who are interested in dinosaurs at all, this unit is going to be a blast to go through. So right off the gate, you guys, if you are The Good and the Beautiful users for a while, you know that their science units used to come like this in plastic wrap with all the student pages, cutouts, mini books, student worksheets. They were all inside here, and it took 20 minutes, 30 minutes, maybe an hour if the unit was bigger to prepare a new science unit for your kids. In fact, I've done a lot of videos preparing science units for my kids. It didn't bother me. I loved The Good and the Beautiful when it came like that, but I do have to tell you, I'm quite thrilled to see that they are spiral binding all of the units now. You'll also notice that this is much smaller than this. And the reason why is because The Good and the Beautiful is now having all of the student sheets that you were formerly pulling out and photocopying potentially for multiple kids. For me, I was making 4 photocopies. They now have them all put in their own student journals, which how fantastic is that? The student journals are also 3-hole punched, which I think is really great because chances are you're going to be doing more than one science unit per year. In my family, we do about 4 units per year. I like to do 1 per quarter. So you can leave them like this and all the pages will be held nice together, or you could put them into a 3-ring binder if you want all of the student journals to be, in one place. So I love that they have that option there. So they have taken everything that your kids are going to need and put them in the student journals already. So in here, in the actual course book, you still have the things you're reading to your children. You still have your vocabulary words for your science wall that you will want to cut out or laminate or leave in the book. I know some families do this very differently. We personally like to cut ours out and display them in our homeschooling room while we are using the unit. So you still have that in here. You still have the answer keys to anything that you need personally. The lessons are still color. They have their numbers here. And they tell you the objective, your preparation work, and so really it's the science units we've all loved from The Good and the Beautiful, but just made a little bit better, a little less prep work for us. They were pretty much open and go, but now they're like definitely open and go, and I'm really excited about that. One thing that I do want to point out to you guys is that moving forward, you're going to see on the front of the science units that it now says 3 through 8 for a science unit study. And that is because, which I'm sure you all have seen if you keep up with The Good and the Beautiful, they have come out with a really beautiful and sweet new curriculum for those younger kids, grades 2 through, preschool, kindergarten, pre-K type age. And so it's either like, I think it's Little Science for Little Hands and Hearts or something to that effect. So that is a new thing. So that is why it says that on there now. Now, I also want to point out to you, if you're a mom of older kids, got those middle school aged kids, you know I've used The Good and the Beautiful Science with all of my kids through middle school. And so they previously were doing lesson extensions that were coming. Well, now your student science journals, notice the different colors. This one is for grades 3 through 6, and this one is for grades 7 and 8. So the handouts and the extensions are already put in here, and so that is really great. They have like what their regular lesson would be. So this is like lesson 4, and then the lesson extension for lesson 4 is on the back side. So those are already all prepared for your kids who are in grades 7 and 8. To be quite honest, my kids in 5th and 6th grade start to do the lesson extensions just because I enjoy them and I think that they're really well done, and my kids are ready for that little bit of additional work. So it's also really easy for the kids to find when you're referencing because the lessons all have the number there. So that is an exciting new release from The Good and the Beautiful Paleontology. This is going to be our very first science unit next school year, so I'm really looking forward to that. If you want to see an actual flip through of all of that, head over to The Good and the Beautiful's YouTube channel because they did a really beautiful flip through of paleontology. So I'm not going to do the same thing. They already did that for us, and you can see more of the inside of the course. Now, along with that, you can also get the additional book pack. So this one right here is the Ultimate Dinosaur Guide. This is an original publication from The Good and the Beautiful. Heather Hawkins is the author here. She was also an author of the Constitution course and many other things. I got to meet Heather over this past summer, and she's so sweet and so kind and has such a love for books and reading, and she's just awesome. So I love seeing another thing that she had her hand in my homeschool. This is a really awesome picture with lots of facts in here on all different kinds of dinosaurs that your kids are going to love. So that is great. And then we have ancient animals here. This is about discoveries paleontologists have made. Another The Good and the Beautiful original publication. So my kids absolutely love these kind of books from The Good and the Beautiful. And then the other one I have is this one, Amazing Archaeological Digs. This talks from King Tut's tomb to buried treasure, just learning more about some really awesome archaeological discoveries. So those are the books that you can get to go with paleontology. Now, one of the questions that I am bound to receive, so I just want to answer for you guys, is the belief statement, because anytime you talk about dinosaurs, worldview, you know, people have questions. So it says it right here in the unit. The paleontology unit has been written with a focus on basic Bible principles, allowing all families to use this unit and add in their specific beliefs. This unit works well for those who hold either young earth or old earth beliefs. So that is their belief statement. So take that for what it is worth. Now, the next thing I have to show you guys is a revised safety unit. So I actually did this safety unit with my kids about 5 years ago, which is so hard to believe. And we loved it then. And I'm excited to do it again because I feel like this is stuff that can be forgotten. It's stuff that you can add on to in conversation based on your children being able to understand and comprehend more, and you as the parent using your discernment to decide how deep you want to go into certain topics with your kids. So again, this is a 3 through 8 unit study, although I did the older one when my youngest was in 1st grade, and so I still think you could definitely include your younger kids in this. It's just they have that on there now because they have created the science curriculum for those younger kids. So that this doesn't mean though that you can't have your first grader sit down and learn about a safety course with your family. So don't let that, kind of like box you in. So in the safety unit, it's now spiral bound. All of the student sheets are put into the student journals. And again, they have one for grades 7 and 8, which they did not have these lesson extensions when I did this unit. The lesson extensions were later added. So I'm really excited for my older kids to do the 7 and 8 lesson extensions. And then they also have the student journals for 3 through 6. So that's an awesome addition. It's spiral bound, upside down again, which is great. And it's open and go. This unit is going to cover what is safety, fire safety, water safety, electricity safety, natural disaster safety. God gave me a body, which is just talking about basic safety surrounding, strangers and what's appropriate and what's not. Safety for being home alone, kitchen safety, technology, media, and peer pressure safety. And then the last section is on gun safety. So this is all in here for you to go through. And we love this unit when we did it 5 years ago. We're going to be doing it again this year. Also, they now have optional books that go with the safety unit. These were not available when I did it, and boy, am I excited to read these with my kids. These two are picture books. However, they are teaching very valuable lessons. And so this one is a mushroom walk, called A Mushroom Walk. It's written by Jenny Phillips. And this is talking about Martha and Otto, and they're learning from their mother about which kinds of mushrooms are safe to eat and basically what to do if someone ever asks them to do something inappropriate with their bodies. So this is a great way to talk with your kids, teach them that very important thing. Your kids are never too young to learn what is appropriate and what is not appropriate. So this is a great book for that. This one is called The Turnaway Game. This is obviously going to talk about what appropriate and inappropriate images are, the effects of that, and this is a great book and a great resource to have those conversations with your kids. Both of these books are original publications from The Good and the Beautiful, so you're only going to be able to find them directly through them. And then this one I really love a lot too. This is Cyber Safety Questions and Answers. So this is basically a question right here, like for example, this one says, how can my webcam use to harm me? This question says, why is it important to keep my passwords a secret? And so this is critical information for your kids to have to understand cyber and internet safety. And again, as a mom of teens, down to the 5th grade, I told you guys I did this safety unit with my first grader. I'm so glad that I did it with her then. It was a great basis, but now that she's older, we can dive more into those topics. And then with my older kids, they need refreshers and reminders as well. So this will be a great resource for me to use with all of my kids. And yes, my daughter will be in the 10th grade listening to this, and that is how I do things. So I don't box myself in with these grades and ages. This is information that is always applicable, and I don't think it's ever too late to talk about it more or too early to start talking about it. Now, the last thing that I have to show you that is really exciting is the Language Arts and Literature Level K course book. This is the most current and new revised edition of Language Arts Level K. It has the reading booster cards for A, and then they also have these reading booster A books, which are basically like CVC words, sight words, and they correlate together. So this is a perfect unit for your kindergartner who is going to be learning how to read and write. The things that we all love about The Good and the Beautiful, the phonics, the writing, reading, grammar, punctuation, spelling, literature, geography, art, all inside this course book. The course is beautifully done. It is colorful. Lessons are simply laid out. They are front and back now, which I know is an improvement. It has an independent practice section on every page for your kindergartner so that you can start teaching them how to work independently from a very young age, which is something I highly encourage you guys to do, speaking from experience. One of the biggest things that I know about the Language Arts Level K, obviously my kids are not in kindergarten anymore, sadly, but they did send me this so that way I could look at it. That way I can be a great resource for you guys to be able to ask questions to, because the Good and the Beautiful knows that I get a ton of questions. So it's helpful for me to actually see the materials myself so I can communicate with you guys. One of the biggest things was people were sharing feedback on the reading portion of the Good and the Beautiful's Level K Language Arts. Some people were expressing that it moved a little bit quickly. It was maybe a little more challenging. So they really took a look at the reading component of that level, and they have made it even better than it was. It is a very gentle approach. It's very seamless, and your children will just move right on into reading very, very wonderfully through using this language arts course. They spent a lot of time on that. And so I just want you guys to know, if you use the older one and maybe you had a child who struggled, this was a major focus of theirs with the Level K, and they took that feedback from you guys, which is why I love the Good and the Beautiful. They are always listening to us when we provide constructive feedback to them to let them know, and then they look at things and they're just always improving. So my kids use the older version of that, and I have great readers, so it's not like the old one didn't work well, but again, they've just made it even better, just like they've done with the science units. So if you want to take a look at more information on what is in the Language Arts Level K, you can head over to the Good and the Beautiful's website, which will be linked down below. And if you guys want to get any of these science units, you can also find them on their website. The best way to stay up to date with the Good and the Beautiful for release dates, as well as new revisions coming, new science units, make sure you're following them on Instagram, and make sure you are on their email newsletter. The Good and the Beautiful doesn't end up in my inbox very often, but when they do, I know it's something that I want to read, and they often will have a few dates listed that I am making a mental note of or writing down in my planner so that I know when something's coming out if I have my eye on it. So that's the best way. So make sure you're on their email list, and you can find that all on their website. So I hope you guys enjoyed seeing some of what is coming or what has recently come to the Good and the Beautiful, depending on when you're watching this. I hope this video was helpful. If you enjoy curriculum talk, give me a thumbs up. It's a free way to support my channel. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you all in my next one really soon. Bye, friends.